Hello, everybody. Chantele Francis here from Reality Realness with 3 S's. Of course, I'm here with my lovely co-host, Miss
Fanta Sesay.
And today we have a special guest, one of my favorite people to talk about competitive reality television with. It's
Michelle Nash.
Michelle Nash.
Here I am. I'm so excited. I love the challenge. Woo!
And so how do you know the challenge? Like, I didn't know that you knew that you watched the challenge for whatever.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I watched the challenge before I ever watched Big Brother. Like, I watched the challenge from like the OG, from the real world. I didn't watch all the road rules because I kind of came in like that was shifting, but I've loved the challenge for as long as I can remember. I feel connected to these people. So it's pretty intense, my obsession.
Just off the bat, do you have any favorites? Like when you just saw the cast announcement, like
for this season, I was very excited because no Cara Maria, no Polly. Like I just needed a break. We all needed the break, and I understand their purpose within, and I don't think that they're like, they have their skills, but I just was like, I need a season without them. So a lot of my faves are on this season, obviously Wes, I love, even though it's controversial. And I've never really liked Bananas, but like, I still, I don't hate him as much as I used to. I'm a Nani stan, love Nani. Anyways, I love a lot of the people that are on this season, and I also love to hate a lot of the people that are on this season too. So it's kind of a great combo. And the new people, I'm very excited about the new people, like Jay and like all these, like, I don't know, it's a good mix. I'm curious to see how it's gonna go.
Did you, by any chance, take a look at to see our draft picks?
Oh wait, I don't remember. You told me who you had, but I don't remember.
Okay, it might just play up in what we're talking about a little bit to see who's doing better or not. But anyway, so I actually, when we started, the episode started, and it was doing the recap, and TJ was talking about like all the new rules and like the elimination thing with the Red Skull. Like, I actually got goosebumps. Like, why is it affecting me so much that they have to go in and prove themselves? I'm like, goosebumps.
I think it's just like a very epic twist to have. And like so many people have proven themselves in the elimination, like unexpectedly. And like, it's just, I think it's the best twist I've ever done.
Absolutely. I'm usually not one for twists, but this one I think it works for where the challenge is right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you guys notice Nani though, when like she has a reaction like, oh man.
I know. This is bad for her game. As much as I love Nani, she's been kind of hiding a little bit, and I used to think she was, a lot stronger, and I think she can be, but she maybe has a lack of confidence or something. Like there's something kind of amiss when it comes to competing, and she just kind of wants to slide in and have her chance. And so I hope that she can prove herself. But
you know what's funny though? I feel like, so there was like, we had a break from Nani, right? In the challenges. And I feel like before the break, she had a lot more confidence. Mm-hmm. But it's like interesting because now I don't like talking about like people's weights or anything, but like she's like gotten like really fit. But it's interesting, like she's less confident than she was before.
Yeah. And before she looked like she was just kind of like, I'm living my life, but she was killing it.
Yeah.
Medium killing again.
Well, I think that she's never been confident in one-on-one kind of combat battles. I think her strength has always been kind of her social thing. She usually latches on to a guy, so there's usually a protection that way. And she usually gets far into the game until she has to go into elimination, and that's usually how she exits. You know what I mean? So I think that just because past history has proven that she doesn't do well in eliminations, I think that she just psychs herself up. She doesn't have like that mindset of like, I can get him, I can win, because she has repetitively been losing in those situations.
Yeah, because it's like she got second, like she almost won free agents. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like she pulled her weight. So it is interesting. I agree with you.
CT is another person that is a little bit.
I love CT, but Yeah.
He's so scared. Well, because he's learning, like, obviously as we are learning too, like what's the new strategy going to be of this game? And like, he's right. He was like, yes, you're just going to throw your friend in. Like, you're going to like, if like your friend wants to go in, you're going to throw them in and get them to go in who they want. And he's just like, what do I do now? But I don't think anybody, I think people are scared of CT still.
Yeah, I think I'm still scared. And I think that CT is still really good at adapting. Like, he's done the most of these out of everyone. So I think he's just fine. But yeah, I do see how Nani would be terrified.
Ashley hates the twist too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ashley, I mean, Ashley, I don't hate her, but like she just I need to see her prove herself like again for me to really stand her, because I'm like, yeah, you had that one thing, you know, you were stronger than we thought, but like, I don't know, I want to see her like really, really solidify herself as someone legit, because right now to me she still isn't, even though she's won the most money.
I totally agree with you. And actually, I don't know if I sent you guys the link this week, but I watched this like breakdown of people's money and like how much they've won. And obviously in the last few years, like people that have played less games have won larger sums of money. It shows Darrell in 10th place and he won 4 challenges and he had made like $300,000 in his 4 challenge wins, and then it has Ashley with 2 wins winning like 1 point something million or something like that, like 1 point whatever.
But I think if that one challenge, what was that one? I can't remember, the before War of the Worlds, and that one like was so easy and everyone was complaining about how easy it was, because had that one been as difficult as any of the trilogy, I don't like Ashley would not.
No, it was the easiest one ever, and like she wasn't against Johnny or like, yeah.
CT was in that one though, right? I think he was in that one.
Was he?
He had a partner. Jenna was in that one too? No, I'm getting them all confused.
That's the one where
they're standing on
Tony betrayed Bananas.
Who did?
Tony. Like got Bananas out right before the final, remember? Because then Bananas came back for part of the, like they had to get through him or something for part of the, maybe I'm confusing them, but something like that.
I definitely remember thinking like that was one of the worst finals I've ever seen. Like,
yeah, I was
like I could have done that.
It was horrible. Yeah, when you can sit there and you're like, I could knock that out. That's problematic.
Yeah, I think they've really like, that's the other thing about this season is, man, like it's just like it feels so much more intense. It's like this is what I've been waiting for. It's it's
all the fans are just kicking back like, oh, this is so refreshing.
Yeah.
Well, you're excited. Well, what do you guys think? Like, what do you think the strategy should be? Like, Jordan said that he's going to play his game like he's always done, pretty much like normal. But like, obviously, you can't. And Tori's saying like, well, now you're going to have to start choosing who you go up against. And so, like, where do you think the strategy should go this way? Me and you, Fanta, have talked about it a little bit, but like, that's.
Yeah, I think that your strategy has to change depending on who you are. Someone like Jordan really isn't afraid of going against anyone, but the problem is if he waits too long, they could purposely make sure he doesn't get to go in so that he never gets that opportunity. But now with this new twist where if you're in the tribunal, you can volunteer yourself, that means that as long as Jordan wins tribunals towards the end, he can throw himself in when he chooses to. So it is like he could be fine, but like you're taking a risk, because if someone really wants to make sure you make it to the end and can't compete, they could do that if you're not being careful and getting yourself in. Like Jenny's so lucky now.
Yeah.
We'll get to that, but we'll get to that.
I'm really glad that they also made the twist of being able to throw yourself in a tribunal, because that was something that I brought up last week, where had they not done that, then people would kind of be more inclined to throw certain competitions, especially if it's like a guy's day and like girls aren't up for elimination and vice versa. So I'm glad that they like change that before it could turn into a
to make both sides of it be very beneficial, like, or like have power, like you still have more power. So that's I totally agree. Did you guys notice how Nelson was feeling Big T? Like,
yeah, I mean, Nelson, I can't believe Nelson is back. Like, Nelson.
That's so funny that you say that, because I put that in my notes. Because I was so, like, he just gets this, like, look on his face when he's just like, yeah, like I know, like, I can show you the ropes, and, like, also, like, I'm feeling you. And you're just like, barf.
But people love Nelson. It's so bizarre. I don't understand, but, like, I'm always laughing at him, but then he sometimes is good in competitions. It's weird. Like, sometimes he's very strong, and I'm like, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, he grew up playing sports and stuff like that, so he's gonna have some sort of skills. Like, I always think that he's a joke, and I never would put the money on him, even though I have both him and Corey on my team. But, like, he does do well sometimes. He's a bit of a hothead. But I was watching Natalie from Big Brother that was on a few seasons. Did this little, like, cast assessment that I watched earlier on today, and she just talks about how much she loves Nelson, and she's so happy that he's back on the screen. And I'm just like, she had really bad taste on, like, everybody.
But he also, remember in her season, he was, like, really there for her. Like, I think, like, he was, because everyone hated on her at that point. I feel like she was like a huge, she was going in every week.
Yeah. That was the season that Kaylee outed her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kaylee?
From UK.
Oh, yeah. And then she hasn't been on since, eh?
No, she was on last season.
Right.
She skated through last season.
So you didn't see her at all, and then I don't even remember what happened. Yeah. She's so inconsequential to me in the game that, like, I'm never paying attention to her. But when I was watching her assessment, I just was like, people actually really do like him, which is kind of what you're saying. And, like, I don't think he's good looking. I don't want to see him on my screen. He's a big eye roll in my opinion, and I'm just
such an eye roll. Like, everything he says, I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
Another eye roll. I'm like eye rolling while I'm trying to get this out of it. Like,
eye roll week.
No, Rogan and Jen, like, Rogan giving Jen strategy, and Rogan is.
I hate Rogan. I really, honestly hate Rogan. I'm gonna say it. I think he's the worst. He's never had to be in an elimination ever, yet he has this, like, bravado because he made it to the end without having to go in. Like, he failed his first one, couldn't even do the first challenge. Like, he's so smarmy, but, like, dumb, and, like, he's just so condescending when he speaks to women. I just can't handle it.
The only thing that I like about Rogan is the fact that he used to be, like, a Chippendales dancer. Like, I think that's, like, that's the only good thing about him, is that it's so hilarious and embarrassing. Like, it's so good that, like, he gets a slight pass that he has done that in his life, and, like, I would laugh my ass off to watch him do, like, to dance.
Oh gosh, that's funny. Society loves ex-strippers.
It's so funny though. Ex-male strippers. I don't think the women are as well liked in that.
Well, Hustlers.
I haven't seen it.
It's not good.
Okay, but I have not seen it.
It's not good.
So I didn't know though that Tori and Dee were going to be working together. I was actually a little bit surprised by that.
I mean, that whole thing, I think, was really, I think it was Tori kind of putting a lot into that, like, friendship in that thing, and I think they're cool because, you know, they made it to the final end last time, and she won with Jordan, so it's like they're connected in that way. So I think they have, like, a, you know, at least some sort of rapport. So I think Tori was, like, assuming and leaning into it. But then they're just, like, it's Jordan, like, I don't know, he just gets on this high horse sometimes, and it pisses me off because I do really actually like him as a competitor. He's, like, the challenge for me. Like, he's always goes 1,000,000%. But I don't know, he gets a little bit too ego driven, and I can't handle it.
I 100% agree with you about Tori and Jordan not being cool. I was like, you guys relax. Like, there are plenty of layups and like plenty of turns for you to have. Like, Jennifer is not the be all end all. And I think that like Tori should have just like cooled off. It's not like a good look to get that uppity so quick.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Draw
And
the line.
not to mention that she beat Jenny last time, so it's like she should be confident to beat anyone.
Like, what's the issue here?
Well, I mean, I know the issue is it's kind of like you just want that guaranteed spot, so you don't have to, like, people might still put you in. Of course, you might still go into elimination, but knowing that you don't, like, you have already qualified, it's nice to have that resting in the back. You can just strategize a little bit more differently, a little bit more.
Of course. But I think anything can happen in an elimination, but I was surprised because Tori is usually pretty level-headed. So I was surprised that she was just like running a hamster wheel like this entire episode.
Well, maybe she got scared though, because like last episode she kind of shit the bed. So maybe she was like, fuck, maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. Like, maybe there's other really good competitors that I don't want to go against just in case I don't do well. So maybe she just wants to like secure that spot and at least then be fighting with that lockdown.
Yeah, I think she really, really gets in her head. And what was so great about her joining the challenge people is that she didn't care and was so chill and just like went for things and then was good and like whatever. And so now it's like getting to her more, and I think it's totally a detriment to her. Like, she's so good when she's just living her life. Like, that's why I liked Tori. And
For sure.
It just wasn't a good look.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look. How did you guys like the elimination, the airdrop extraction?
It was cool. I mean, again, like, Jordan just like got so frustrated at himself. It's just, and I love Wes because Wes is just like, yo, why you gotta, like, don't take it so seriously, you know?
Well, what ends up, like, the teams though, when I was looking at the teams and I was like, okay, who are going to do well here? I actually thought, I was like, okay, Jenny, Jordan, and Wes, 100%, they're going to do well, at least for the first leg. And then I was like, I thought that Bear, Jenna, and Ashley were actually going to do pretty well. I didn't really realize how heavy those, like, crates that they're
yeah, they seemed
supplies were going to be. So I was like, oh, I thought they were going to do really well because they all have great stamina. And then I actually thought Nelson, Tori, and Kayla were going to do really well. But I was almost right with one. Like, I was a third right, but the other two I was surprised by coming in.
I was too. And I was like, yo, like, I have come full circle with Kyle and how I feel about Kyle. And it's like, I just want like some sort of like redemption for him. And like, he really cares and he really wants to have that chance. And I think he does deserve it at this point. If, you know, he's got to prove a little bit more, but like, I'm like, good for you, you know?
I was also shocked though that Swaggy, who was it? Swaggy.
Oh yeah, Swaggy.
I was shocked that they, like, even in the running part, like the first like half of that competition, like they were not on my radar. I was like, okay, Corey, gas out king. Swaggy, probably gas out king. D, I've been not wanting to give D any props at all, but like, she's been, like, the last two challenges, she's been proving me wrong, and it's annoying me because like, I really want to hate on her physically because I just don't appreciate her. But
it's nothing physical that I dislike about her. It's everything else.
Yeah, it's all personality, baby. It's all personality. Yeah, I'm loving Fessy. I'm loving Fessy. Fessy really showed up in this challenge, and I think a lot of the guys are kind of like, oh shit, like, who is this guy?
They're gonna try to make sure he doesn't go in to elimination, I bet.
For sure. Yeah, and that's going to be to his detriment, of course, because
but he also he might win though now, right? And so he might be able to just put himself in. So,
but hopefully he's smart enough to like realize that, because in Big Brother he wasn't the smartest strategist.
No. In Big Brother?
Yeah.
No, God, no.
Yeah. So.
And Josh really showed up in this challenge too.
I love Josh.
Poor thing was just stuck with Jennifer, but like
Jen, you were calling her?
What's that?
Yeah.
The amazing, I've dropped that moniker. Thank you very much. Holy smokes. This was like the episode of like, oh shit, Jennifer's dumb.
And sucks.
And the other shoe drops.
And she's allowing Rogan to flirt with her. Like she was not in her element.
None of the other women are like, yeah, Rogan.
No.
And also, I don't know where she said this, but there was a confessional of her being like, oh yeah, I want to win the $1 million so that like I can start a swimsuit line.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, even if that's what you want to do, like say something else.
Say literally anything else other than
anything else.
That was very
anything other than swimsuit line.
That was rough. That was
like
rough.
it's like everybody will have their 15 minutes of fame, and every female reality contestant wants to have a swimsuit line. Please don't say that.
Please. Especially because you're coming in as a model and we already think that you suck and that you're not going to be competitive. Like, just don't.
And it was interesting. I was seeing a couple of the women from the game on Twitter saying that like they tried to have conversations with Jen and have like sort of strategy conversations, and she was pretty much just like not interested and only talked to the men. So I don't know if that's true. Like that was like Kayla said that, and yeah, there was a couple of them. Tori, I think, and
yeah, they said they were trying to give her advice and be like, Nani was one person that was trying to talk to her, and she just wasn't like, she wasn't gonna have it, and she was saying that the women in the house like sucked, basically, like that they weren't like supportive of her, and it's like, I think you have problems with women, you know what I mean, or you think you do, and you create them on your own. I was really shocked by how poorly Jordan did in that challenge in the second part. Like,
he couldn't figure it out, man.
But
I think he couldn't figure it out. Like, you know how there's always challenges like that where like you're the first group up and you just haven't figured out like how it works for some reason. Like he just couldn't compute. Like it was
after the first one or even two, like why couldn't you just figure out the timing of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My favorite was how he blamed the pilot of the helicopter and the wind. And then Wes was like, I don't think the wind is making that much of a difference.
Like, why couldn't they just switch? Like, why wouldn't Wes just do the?
I wonder maybe because
I think they were like linked up.
Oh right, so they
would the helicopter. So I don't think they could have like switched. But I'm sure Jordan like really campaigned to be like, I'm gonna be the eyes and ears. I'm gonna be the top gun of this competition.
But honestly, though, maybe with his hand, it might have been difficult to get the timing to lift up the crate. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think they were attached specifically. Yeah. And he probably just thought he was gonna do it, and he just like do it. It was just a massive fail, and he knew that, and he beat himself up about it instead of just letting it go, because he can never let losses go like that.
Oh my god, my favorite was like at the end of the competition when he was like, and those guys got eight and 9 bucks. Like how? Like just so mad that people were able to succeed.
It's like, dude, like it was that hard though.
Away.
I don't know why he failed so bad. And I love that Tori doesn't still try to pump up her man when he doesn't do well. Like she was just like, yeah, like he's not doing well. Like she was very, very honest about that, which I not being like, no man, he's great, he's awesome. Like, she wasn't fluffing up his feathers for no reason. So
yeah, he's pretty grounded most of the time.
So Swaggy, D, and Corey within the challenge, they were changed into a relay strategy, which I think is what was the way that they were able to do so well to get to the third stage, is because they were like passing it to each other, and then that person would run and then they'd go back. And I think that was the best way to conserve energy instead of people just like gassing out, carrying it, and being really, really slow. So I'm so impressed by them. And like the fact that Corey landed every single one of them, like I was
honestly so impressed, and I'm not on a Corey side. Like I've just been like, ew, Corey, why are you back? But honestly, like So far, that was really impressive, and he hasn't done anything to piss me off yet this season. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because there's other fish to fry right now, and he has matured somewhat, maybe.
Johnny's such a shit disturber. I'm kind of like the same boat as you. Is like years ago I used to hate Johnny, and then I had metamorphosis, and like I changed to like being siding with Johnny because he's always kind of the underdog because he has so many people that are always going against him. So like I start rooting for Johnny to see if he can get out of this mess. And so I'm still in that camp right now that like I'm usually going to be team bananas. I'm also always going to be team vet, like for sure.
Yeah.
But when he's just taunting Jordan about like, you know, how bad, he's like, oh, what were your strategy? Was it to land it in Germany? And I was just like, you're such an asshole.
He pisses him off, like he just knows how to push people's buttons, and like Wes is similar too, but Johnny I did also used to hate him because he always had too many people on his side, and now that he doesn't, I'm more interested, even though he still has like people, like he still always has some people, but he will get screwed over a lot more easily. So yeah, I am rooting for him in that way, and I'll always root for vet side.
Yeah, that's till we die.
Yeah.
Corey and Dee were talking now after the competition. Obviously, they're in the tribunal now. Yeah. And Dee's kind of saying that how she has this pact with Jenny, which I think is actually detrimental to Dee's game. Like, it's actually very bad for her to be honoring this. You don't want Jenny in the final.
Oh, yeah. That was like the very moment where you just started like watching Dee's game just fall right apart. Like there's no strategy in the way that she's playing. No. And she gave Jenny
she gave her a free pass, someone that if she makes it to the final, you're likely not going to beat her in the end. Like she didn't get to go to the end last time, but now if she doesn't have to go into an elimination, it's like you've just given her something, especially when like she wouldn't have been that mad if you hadn't picked her, especially when you could have thrown yourself in for something that was so easy. Like it just showed that she doesn't have the guts to back up what she says, and she's all talk to me. And even though she is physically strong, like I think she's a good competitor in that way. Strategy wise, 0.
Yeah. And maybe even -3.
She's so thirsty for freaking Rogan right now. Like you remember when she's sitting on the bed and like doing her makeup like beside him, like kind of just like pursing your lips and whatever. And she's just like, "Are you gonna be mad at me if I throw in Jen?" I was like, ugh, like, ugh.
Does it make me a bad person that I was actually like hoping for Jennifer to stay so that her and Rogan could hook up so that I could see the inevitable.
That happened, but I was like, if she stays, that would be a great element of drama, which I would appreciate, especially since it would probably screw over Rogan in the end, which would be excellent for me. But it shows the preview for next week that she's like hooking up with
Jay. No?
I think it's Jay. I think it's
Jay.
I mean, that's obviously her being like, look.
I know, it is literally that.
But Rogan did say in confessional that like Dee is still his number one. Do you think that's like for real, or do you think it's just until like as it serves his purpose, or if Jen leaves?
Jen leaves. Like I think he'll take whatever is present to him and whatever's going to help him.
Yeah, because he doesn't really have an alliance.
Yeah, he's just like smarmy king. I think that's the perfect.
He doesn't really have anyone. Like Bananas and CT and Wes could give a rat's ass, right? And like all the girls think he's gross. So
yeah, I'm hoping for his demise. I really am. I hope he doesn't like, because you never know what can happen with an elimination. But I'm like, I want him to have to go against CT or something. Like,
oh.
Okay, speaking of which, who do you think is the you in the previews before the season started, maybe even the first episode, you hear TJ being like, the matchup I've been waiting for. Who do you think that is?
Yeah, I think honestly, I think it might be Wes and Bananas.
Wes and Bananas?
Yeah.
Haven't they done that recently?
when have they recently battled against each other specifically in an elimination though?
I think that's happened in the last couple seasons. Fanta?
I don't know.
I think so.
Or maybe
Fanta was suggesting that it might be a reprise of the Johnny Banana backpack.
yeah, that would make sense too. Bananas CT, in which case it's honestly a toss-up because it really depends on what it is. I will say CT is really good at thinking on his feet and outside the box. Like when he did that, I'll always remember his little elimination with the rope in the thingy, and he just like went on one area and did like a million pulls, and it made it impossible for the other person, and he didn't tire himself out trying to like go. Like he's smart and he's strong. He's not as strong as he used to be, but I think he's still a great elimination.
Yeah, and he still has a lot of stamina. Like despite his ever-changing dad bod, he still has a lot. I love his.
Now I'm gonna be like wondering who that pair is. I forgot that TJ said that. Do you think it's a female pair?
Who would Anissa? Oh, maybe Melissa and Kayla. No, he doesn't care about that.
No, I don't feel like there's like any like iconic vets on the female side
that he cares about.
There's no Laurel or Evelyn or like or anything. It's probably to do with CT and Bananas, or like a combo of West, CT, Banana, something like, because those are the people who've been there the longest. Maybe Jordan and Bananas as a rematch for the
time. Oh yeah.
when Jordan threw his
flip.
That was, I watched some, did I send you, I've been watching a lot of clips, whatever, and I watched that again, and it was really, I was like, ooh. You know?
Just horrible to watch.
Yeah, but that was like his first or second season, right?
Yeah. Right
and it was like a bold move. It was dumb move,
but it probably got him invited back, so he became part of like the challenge for the fact that he was always willing to like go for it. And so I mean, exactly. That probably solidified his bank account anyways, so he's rich now because of that move pretty much.
Maybe it's him versus Bananas again. I don't know, we'll see.
That's good, actually. I don't really think about that one.
Because Jordan and Bananas have never really gotten along.
Maybe there's going to be like a big fight between them because, Jordan doesn't really get along with that many people.
No, Jordan and West don't really get along either.
No.
It's so weird because Tori gets along with everyone.
Well, that's probably why, like, she levels them out. So that's why they're together.
Yeah.
That's why it works anyways. And, like, Jordan's just escape on to her because, like, not many people can probably handle you long term.
True.
So then the beginning of my favorite part of the episode happens, and it's so Mean Girls, but when Johnny Bananas and Wes are giving Jen her little pep talk and getting her to get a piece of paper to write out the speech, I was like, girl, is your brain full of rocks?
Yeah, that was not, like, has she never watched the challenge? If you've never watched the challenge, why are you on it? You should watch. Like, the challenge is such a specific type of reality competition. You need to be obsessed. Like, Jay obviously has watched the challenge. He's wanted to be on it for so long. Like, you know, he went on X on the Beach or whatever that show was, Love Island, whatever it was, so that he could get on the challenge, you know? So for her to not know, it's just like, girl, come on.
Oh, yeah, it's very clear because it's like, if you're in the challenge and you ever find yourself in a room alone with Wes and Bananas telling you to do something.
And they're laughing.
Do you stay there and listen to them, or do you get the F out of there? Like,
or you can, I mean, what they were saying wasn't the worst, to be honest. Like, I think that she could have worded that better and be like, well, we guess we can get to the speech, whatever. But basically, they were kind of convincing her to say that she's a layup which they would prefer to have in the final. And instead of getting rid of her now, and so they'll have to compete against somebody stronger and lessen their chances of winning the final. And I think that that's actually kind of true. But I think that how they got her to word it made her just look like an idiot.
That's the thing. She didn't have any processing skills to go, okay, I'm going to receive this information, and put my spin on it so that I don't look like a complete and total moron.
Like what she could have said, I mean, she still would have gone on no matter what, but she could have been like, listen, I know I'm the weakest person here, and so wouldn't you want to have me later on to like be able to compete against me in an elimination to secure yourself a skull, or to even have in the final? Like, give me another chance. There's other opportunities of people you could put in. Like, try to say something like at least more level-headed. It's probably worked, but like,
bigger fish to fry, guys.
Exactly. Like the actual strategy behind it is not the worst, but I guess because they know that she's so dumb that she wouldn't get the strategy, and so like her presenting it was just gonna look like idiotic, you know?
Yeah, of course. Oh, the reactions when she started her speech.
Yeah, well, first like Wes is like, you know, Bananas was like, we're gonna start this as like a town meeting or a council meeting. What did you say?
Yeah.
Like, it was so brutal the way they did that, and then to have us be like, I'm voting for Jen. Like, that was like such excessive rudeness. I was just like, Wes, like,
classic Wes.
Dude, yeah.
Earthlings. Sorry, Fanta, you want to start with her speech?
Oh my God. Anissa's reaction gave me life.
Oh, Anissa. Yes.
Just that. And just like the general frustration that all of the girls had immediately, like, excuse me? Oh, and she knew, like, then she like started to get it, like, oh shit, like this is not a good option. And like all the girls were just so pissed.
I know, that's like I wrote in my notes, I'm like, okay, this is bad. I stopped to message Fanta and Michelle screaming. I was screaming. I was like, oh my God, shut up. Like, I was dying. It was so
It was really cringy.
bad.
It was super cringy. And like, oh God. I mean, I am glad that she lost, because having to listen to her like more than 1 week would have just been monotonous, I think. But it was hilarious for this episode.
Well, and the fact that she like thinks that Wes is an asshole, he's always been an asshole, and you were just
That's his thing.
That's not news. And had you watched literally one of his seasons, you would have known that.
Exactly.
She didn't get to watch a full season. She could have watched anybody doing a cast assessment like for 8 minutes. Like, she would have gotten in his like 9-second blurb. Like, that's all they would say is like, he's a strategic, manipulative asshole. Like, that's his brand.
His brand is to like,
and he tells, like, he does that on his dailies every single season. Everybody knows this.
It's like, that's why he's on the challenge. Like, that's him. Is that, anyways, the fact that she let them both just, I mean, it was pretty bullying, but
it was definitely bullying. And I thought just him also being like, I'm voting for Jen right away was unnecessary, but that's him, unnecessary rudeness. And you know, I think she'll bounce back in life. Like, I don't think it'll.
Yeah, she's already drawing her designs for some suits.
Is she really on her Insta?
I don't know.
I didn't even try to look her up.
I have no idea.
What do you guys think about the fight between Dee and Jen being like, you spy on me in my sleep? I mean Dee might be like,
I believed it. I know everyone was like, girl, you're so obsessed with yourself, she's not watching you. Dee would do that. She hasn't shown. She picked a bunk above Rogan. Like, and she said she's not going to be okay with him moving on even though they're not together. I'm like, girl, you guys already aren't together. Like, you have zero control over this situation.
But they're still best friends. That's what the problem is.
Yeah. But let's forget, there was a point in the show where she said she was like, nobody is going to like mess with my man or my ex-man. And I was like, pardon me? You guys are not dating.
No.
They never even were. Like, didn't you watch the show and see the horrible things he said about her? Like,
in defense, this is what I heard as maybe a possibility as to why this went this way, is that they filmed this before the whole thing aired.
Oh.
They filmed what?
This next season before they had finished what, like, or filmed
Oh.
the finale, or maybe like the whole end. I'm not 100% sure of the timeline. So maybe if it was kind of back to back and they hadn't seen it yet, like she knows that it kind of fizzled out or whatever, but she might not have seen how shitty he was to her, like in confessionals and, you know.
Okay.
So maybe that's why she doesn't hate him
Fair.
as much as she should. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's truthful or someone is just trying to make her not look so thirsty, but like that's a thought.
I hope so. I hope that's the case. I genuinely do.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, personally, if I was in that position, likely my reaction to hearing him have that conversation with Jen would be, okay, great. I'm going to just like ignore his existence at least, or just like, you know, instead of just becoming
Interesting. It
a
looks
little
like
bit, it's just
frozen.
unhealthy.
I
Yeah.
didn't hear what you said. I hope it recorded, but obviously you were frozen for a second for me. We'll see what happens. Who knows? So we have the tribunal now, and Dee is talking to the three of them, and she was acting like I guess it's because it's a women's elimination, so I guess she does have a little bit more say in what goes on there, even though she's with two other guys. But like, she really, in my opinion, was acting like she owns the challenge, and she doesn't at all. She has not proven herself in my books. Yes, she won last season, but I don't consider her to be a feared competitor that's proven. Like, she's still rookie to me.
Yeah, me too. She needs another strong performance under her belt at
She
least.
needs to win like 10 eliminations, and like, you know what I mean? Like, even like, I know you don't like Killer Cam, but like she did in her first season, like she did prove herself to be able to stay, like to say that she like is a fierce competitor to a certain extent and can be feared a little bit. Like, Dee doesn't.
I agree. Dee does not have that strength of like mind and body. Like at least Cam was always like, I'll go in, whatever. Yeah, like last season things got a little twisty for me with Cam, but like at the same time, she always was like strong-willed, and that's what makes a fierce challenge competitor.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I mean, obviously Dee is on my draft this year. But that's the thing that really, this episode, I was like, man, like this really just sucks to watch Dee because of her personality. If she just like was stronger willed, stronger mind, and like didn't have like all this like Rogan stuff going on and was like fiercer, she would just be so much more fun to watch and to get behind.
I kind of felt similarly a little bit with Cara Maria too, where it's like, literally, why can't you just stop everything that you're saying and doing and acting like, and just like be a competitor and focus on that.
I think what the problem is that because they're on a television show, and
Yeah.
I think they realize to a certain extent that if they have drama surrounding them, it makes them have a storyline for future seasons. And so I think that, you know, like look at the Banana West thing. Like, okay, well, we can't really have this 10-year feud go on any longer. It's pretty played out and boring. So let's switch it up and let's have Banana and West like be friends now and be working together to a certain, you know what I mean? So I think that they're all reality television like stars. Like that's their career. And so I think that yes, they want to win the show, but they also want longevity in the game and in the television show. So I think that also clouds their like perception on how to be good.
Yeah, it's just the choices you make in terms of making yourself relevant still. It's like Nani will always find someone to hook up with. So she stays a little bit like sideline relevant and like we'll always have that. But her whole thing is like loyalty. So she'll always stick to whatever her own morals are, you know? So people have, you're right, their own storylines and their own things. But like, you have to just decide what you're going to do with that.
Well, she is deciding that she wants to be like thirsty over a guy and like have like the drama over any of girls that the guy like might be going after. Like that's her drama. And then having some weird fake loyalty to Jenny, who she shouldn't have fake like the loyalty to.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. But her game doesn't make sense to me.
What'd you say?
I said her game does not make sense to me.
No. Well, it's just because she's not smart, and you like smart people.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I wrote down that I like Swaggy the best out of everybody in that tribunal.
Isn't that something?
True.
Isn't that something?
I never thought I would be able to say that, but yeah.
I was like, I like you the best, Swaggy. Like everybody else, I don't like at all.
It hasn't even been that annoying. Like who?
Yeah. He's playing such a good game. I think he got the memo though. Like, okay, this isn't Big Brother. You can't yell all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And he has like
people yell.
What's that?
But like other people are yelling. You know what I mean? Like he's staying smart and behind.
Yeah, he's playing a smart game.
Well, I think he's trying to figure out how to work this game. Like it's new to him, and however he was being on Big Brother got him eliminated. Like was it second, third? Like he was out pretty quick.
Third or fourth, I think.
And so like he was being quite loud and quite like I'm running things, and people are like, no, you're not. Bye. Like, and so I think he's learned that way. And I think that because Bailey is coming in so hot, that like he's like, okay, if she's gonna be hot, I have to not be hot. We can't just be this couple that everybody's against. Like, let her do her thing, and like I'll just kind of like coast in the background a little bit. And especially if it's a guy's elimination day, you kind of want to be like, you know, you want to either be choosing who you're going in against, or like not be picked and like, you know, against somebody that you might not want to go against, I guess.
Yes, absolutely.
So when Dee was talking to all the women, whatever, and I was just like, the fact that she was still going on about how she had to honor her handshake, like when she said to Tori, like, we didn't shake hands. And Tori, like, I get why she's upset, because, like, I watched that season and I watched that final. If Tori never became a turncoat and jumped to the UK team, they did not have a chance to get to the final, because then Jordan came over because he wanted to be with his girl, and then they started having some agency in the game. They had not a chance without them. So the fact that she doesn't even recognize that like these two powerhouses were her main support system in getting her $250,000, and you are honoring more so a handshake with the strongest woman in the game to give her the layup of the season, the only girl that every single girl in the house would want to go against. You are giving that to the strongest woman in the game. Like,
yeah, you know, when you say it like that, like, what are you thinking?
Layup.
And it's so true what you're saying about last season, about them turning to that side, like, and that's one girl that anyone can go against. And Jenny even said she wouldn't have been mad if Dee had thrown herself in or whatever. Like, Jenny would have gotten over it if she'd put someone else in, and she could have been like, Jenny, you can beat Big T, this person, this person, this person, this person. So like, I just want to give opportunity to one of the other people that we like Tori or whoever. It would have been fine. And she was so scared. She needed to make sure Jen went home. And that's
it actually would have even been better if she put in Big T, because like, not necessarily for her arrangements with Tori and arrangement with Jen, not like that kind of alliance thing, but just to get two weak people, like weak-ish people out, like let them take each other out and like still have someone that's decently weak in the game, right? You kind of want to match people up with their size. You don't want to have big versus small, because eventually you're just going to have big left, and your chance of winning that competition is going to be a little more difficult. Yes, if I'm going in, I want to go against somebody that I think is going to be an easier beat, of course. So you want to have that balance, but strategically you don't want to have the bigger person take out the weaker person, because you don't want strong people to stay in for your chances in the game. Like,
exactly.
You might have to go against Jenny. Like,
and she probably
it just might go that way.
I hope it does. I hope Jenny sends her home.
Maybe that's what TJ's saying. That's the matchup of the century. Is like the fact that she could have gotten somebody else out, and then she kept Jenny in the game. It's basically
that's the thing. Like, it's so like the strategy is completely gone, and it was so funny when TJ reveals like, hey, you can send yourself in. And everyone's like watching, like okay, send yourself in. Like you've been talking shit about Jamie,
girl,
like
oh
all
man,
week long.
I would have had so much respect for her. Like, okay, you are being a real bitch to fucking Jen because he's after your man, and now you wanted to go like send somebody in to just take her out, but now you can go down and fucking wipe the floor with her. She would have been so. I would have respected her for sure.
But I did understand, even though she should have gone in and she's an idiot, I feel like she was just like so worried about losing to her that she couldn't even risk it. And I'm like, girl, like, I understand not being mentally ready to go into an elimination if you think you're not going in, like what happened to Wes, but it was such an easy win. It's against Jen. Girl.
If that's the person that everybody wants to go up against, like go up against her. Like that was like your chance of getting a Red Skull. I do understand her rationale. Her ego got in the way of her like making a strong decision for herself in the game. But like she could have gotten herself pumped up. The fucking crowd would have gone wild if she was like, hey, send me down there. Like I just got goosebumps thinking about how epic that would have been. Like that's the move. Like she would have gotten a hype. Like just be like, boom, boom. But like she would have had to hype herself up to fucking go in and win that. Like with everybody being like screaming, like they would go for it. Like people have been jumping up and down, like going.
Yeah, it's just like that's what the challenge is about, being epic. You know what I mean? It's about making epic decisions, having uber confidence, but being able to back it up, and like every so often taking a risk to prove that you have no fear. And that's what all the greats have done at some point. And sometimes they lose, but you take that risk because you're like, fuck it, it's the challenge. And so she defies what the challenge is by making this decision, honestly.
Exactly. And like Chantele said, then you get invited back.
If she was smart enough, because even if she lost, it would have still been epic. You know what I mean? Like I think that she didn't really weigh out the pros and cons as well, because basically it was like a womp womp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was so much momentum. Like TJ was probably like, yeah, she's gonna go down. She's gonna fucking turn it up. She's gonna defend man, get his hussy out. You know what I mean? Like he was probably like, yeah, that she's gonna go for this. And then he was like, okay.
And that's the thing. Like he's really setting the scene for this. Like this is what like reality TV is like. And like TJ is such an amazing host because he like sets that stuff up so much. And then the worst part, after Jenny just like mops the floor with her, like just flicks up all of these toothpicks, and then like the end, and then Dee's just like, oh, that was so easy, like I should have gone in.
You can't say that now. You can't.
I know. I'm like, you can't say that now. You literally can't.
You literally cannot say that now. You had the literal chance. You had the literal chance to do this. Like the producers probably were in the back were like, hey, wait a second, like let's put this twist in here.
And then they're like, yeah, she's gonna go, yeah. Like they probably were getting hyped about it. And then she's like, womp womp.
I could have done that, and I have a bad back.
And Jen was literally like,
well, that's the thing too. It's like Jen isn't strong. Like she's probably fit to a certain degree. But like I think that Dee has a lot more like sturdiness that she could have just like at least been faster than her. Like there was just no way that, like if I'm looking at it, it would look like something that I would be able to beat Jen at. Like
sure.
What would we be doing? It's either we'd be like swinging it and we're going to be hitting the other person, or we're swinging it over. Like, you know, it just, you probably have to figure out what it is. And it looked like something that I'd be more strong than Jen.
Yeah. I mean, the only way I would have been like, okay, I could see how you wouldn't want to do that is if it was a puzzle based elimination. Then if Dee was like,
who knows exactly.
Yeah, that's a really like 50-50 for anybody, but taking one look at that, like
it was such a wasted
embarrassing
opportunity.
That's so embarrassing.
Wasted opportunity. You want okay, everybody is like, you've lost a friendship and her partner over the fact that you wanted to put somebody into the elimination against the layup and you wouldn't even take the layup for yourself. Like, I don't get it. Like, why do you want Jenny to have a free pass to the end? Because nobody is going to put her in elimination.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No one's going to put her in, and it won't be your responsibility. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can just let it go. Like, you put her in the free options to show her that you were fighting for it. She could have easily been like, Swaggy and Corey really didn't want to put you in, and like, blah, 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 with their alliances, they're closer with like, she could have said anything to back it up. She did not have to make that decision in any way, and it was such a scared decision in the moment, emotional, personal decision instead of game decision. And I think her demise is coming.
Oh, she's gone like so
for
soon.
sure.
I just that, especially because, well, unless like Tori does forgive, but Jordan doesn't. So, what do I think? I think that this is going to come back and bite her for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Sooner than later.
Absolutely. The wheels have come off this episode for sure.
Comeuppance?
No, the wheels for D have come off this episode. Strategically and socially.
100%.
Because now, like, if she's trying to make Rogan jealous, like in the in the preview or whatever, then he's not gonna have her back.
No, and it gives him an excuse to not have her back.
Exactly. Because he can just turn around and be like, well.
I mean, I would be so turned off by her as a competitor, like, alliance, that like I would be anti her as opposed to just like indifferent at that point. I'd just be like, you are such a shitty player that like I don't even want to have you in the game anymore. Like, that's how I would feel. I'd be vindictive and I'd be targeting her, unfortunately, even if it was actually not good for my game. But it actually is probably good for your game, because if you know that she's willing to turn your back on you like that, like, she's not good for the game. She's
just like, if I was one of the girls, and maybe I should ask you guys this as well, like, if you were one of the women in the house, like, who would you be working with? And I thought about that yesterday, and I was like, I would never work with D. Like, you would never know where her mind is at. You would never know what she's going to pull out, like, if it's going to be in her best interest or somebody else's. And then she just gets like super emotional about a stripper, and then everything just blows up.
She's a disaster. I think, if I were to align with people in the game, I would definitely, this season, you want to get in Nani's good books, because if you've got Nani, you've got Nani, Jenna, Kayla, probably Anissa. Getting in Anissa's good books is too. Anissa and Nani are both people who, when they say they have your back, they actually will, so you can trust them. So if you want people that you can actually trust, you want to have those people's backs and like have that kind of, because that's a good amount of numbers. And then with like Bananas, it's always good to be on his good side and kind of have some.
And Nani's is Team Bananas, so like,
yeah, if you're with him, then you're probably in a good place. So like, that's where I would probably go to.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. Am I agreeing? Well, I wouldn't be with Ashley. She's too loose cannon.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be with any of the new people because they're just a target, and like, why would you want to be fighting from the bottom? Who else is there?
Tori. You got Tori and Maddie.
Maddie, I like her, but I don't know if she has any strategies.
Oh my god, I forgot about Maddie. Wow, I completely forgot.
Yeah, okay. She wasn't in this episode at all.
Yeah.
No, I
guess I'd probably go same to you. Like, I'd like Anissa. Well, you know, I like loyalty. I'm like team loyal. You're team loyal. So yeah, I think Anissa and Nani would be who I went, and that's good to have those two other girls. But Kayla's such a hothead that she's a little bit of a liability.
She is, but that's the thing, is as long as you're good with Nani, the chances are Kayla will end up still siding in the right way. Especially now that they're like a lot closer friends. I think in the past, Kayla has been very like reactionary, but same with Nani. Nani can be reactionary when she's drunk and in a fight, even if it's with a close friend, like her and Camilla back in the day. Like, some of her closest friends will have a crazy fight, but then the next day she'll talk and they'll usually move past it.
CT, I would probably
Yeah.
align with, because he's loyal. He will stab you in the back, but he's strategic. So like you'd probably see it coming. Like, you know what I mean? Like he looks at what's in his best interest. And if you are not in his best interest anymore, he will let you go. And so if you are a strategic person and that's how you look at the game, you'll know when it's coming and expect it. And I don't think it would hurt that much, or you could maneuver around it. So yeah, I do CT too, because I don't like loose cannons. I like people that
And he'll be pretty real. He'll be like, I mean, here's my options. I got to put you in because the XYZ, like what he did last season. And then when he finally came around and was like, okay, I'm going to keep Tori and whatever, when like he finally made that choice at the end, because he was like, oh, well, now we can win. Got to do it. Like he's just, here I am. Like, this is the smartest decision to make. Sorry, Cara, you know?
I mean, sorry, Cara. Sorry, Cara. I hate Cara. Well, not hate, but she's just like the worst.
She's gone so downhill for me. I honestly didn't mind her in Rivals 1 or 2 when her and Laurel, like, they hated each other, but then they kind of became friends and Laurel had her back.
Was this before or after they were dating?
But Laurel and
Cara.
Laura and Cara dated?
Didn't they date for a long time, or did they just make out, or am I just thinking of something crazy?
You're thinking of the Nicole thing.
Crazy. Yeah, they didn't date.
They never dated.
Sure.
Yeah, they hated each other. What happened was Cara like hooked up, like made out with Nicole as well, even though Laurel had a thing with Nicole. So like there's drama with them. And that's why they're not friends anymore.
I think Laurel and Cara had a thing.
Oh, well maybe they did, but it was never
I think that they had a thing, and that's why it was shitty.
Oh, that would make more sense. Because I know that like they hated each other at first during Cutthroat, and then they had to be pairs for Rivals. And they still hate each other, but then they became friends again by the end or whatever. So then I didn't really mind Cara as much because Laurel like brought up her confidence, and it was like this nice dynamic. And then everything went to shit. And
yeah, they had like a really petty fight after Rivals 2.
Yeah.
Like it was something to the effect of like Cara felt like Laurel was like being mean to her. I can't even remember what it was just because it was so petty. But that's what I thought it was. And then like ever since then.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
But I actually liked Cara and back in the day with Abram when like they got together and like they were the outcasts of the house, and I was like, you guys get together, and like I was totally supporting them together, and then like he became all like roid monkey and weird, and then they were in a weird.
I'm so sad about Abram's decline. Like Abram was one of my stands. Like I loved Abram. Like
even when he was a crazy hothead on Road Rules, I don't know, Road Rules 6, like I have no idea, but I remember my dad was watching it like with me, and like he's like, oh, Abram, like he's a good kid, you know, he just needs a little, you know, he's like trying to like, he really liked Abram, but he would just do all these like crazy things and like that were not good.
Like he was so unhinged. He was so unhinged. You never knew what he was gonna do, and I loved watching him. Like he was him and CT were like my first like loves of the show. Like I loved them so much. And then his whole decline like was so just sad, and Cara just it's all just unfortunate.
Yeah, there's a virus that needs to be removed to get Cara back to where she should be, and that virus is called Polly.
There's no way that she will ever be likable really again.
I think that like
she doesn't know how to be likable.
I think that like there was like a period of time in there when Cara had like broken up with Abram after Bloodlines.
Wait, and like making out with Thomas and giving Thomas a blowjob in the back of the bus.
Yeah, after that.
Yes.
After that.
I prefer her giving blowjobs in the back of the bus than anything she ever does in the challenge.
Well, like so, like that, like after that, there was like a brief period of time, like before Polly, where I was like, okay, yeah, like.
Well, when she was fighting with like Kayla, and Kayla and her had the same hair, like I don't know, like I'm not sure where that timeline was. Maybe I blinked and missed it, or maybe there wasn't a season happening and we just like, she sucks off season. Her like Twitter fights are obnoxious. Like, she's just so annoying.
I think that she has like, I mean, if you're like going back to like the very beginning, I guess I just feel for her just because she's been bullied so much by people. Like, there was one season that I rewatched the other day where Wes like poured like a 2-liter of Coca-Cola on her, and she was just like, okay, and like just like walked away, and like she's just like really like pushed through that. So like that's what I have respect for. But I just think one of the things that's like really unfortunate is that she was like with Abram when he was like really like, I think, emotionally and physically abusive towards her. And then now she's with Polly, who's like psychologically manipulative.
Yeah.
And then there's just like this, like, their duo and everything is just disgusting. So yeah, I agree that she's not like crazy likable, but I think that she fares better when she's like not dating trolls.
I agree.
It's her value. I guess it's her worth, like how much she thinks that she's worth. Like, she doesn't have high self-esteem. Like, she doesn't think that she deserves any better. And I guess like I can have compassion if I'm looking at her just being like a human being that's gone through a lot in life and makes bad choices with men because she doesn't feel like she deserves better. But as a character on my television screen that I have to watch her react this way, and it doesn't seem like she's doing anything to better herself and make better decisions, better choices, that version of her I can't stand. But I can be like, have empathy towards the human being that she is, but not her character on the TV show.
Yeah, and that's why I did feel for her when Wes did that. I was like, ugh, fucking Wes. Like, no, like that was a bad Wes move. I did not like Wes in that moment.
Yeah.
But that was a season where Laurel stood up for her, and like when she had Laurel in her corner, like as a genuine friend, like I really liked that friendship because Laurel was like, fuck you. Like, even though Laurel's been a bully, she's like, no one's gonna fucking bully you. Like, fuck this. And like, I really liked that dynamic between them. And I do get why Cara is the way she is, but like, it's way too annoying on the TV show. And I really hope that they don't bring her back too many times. Like, every once in a while, fine. But like, her being on every season for the past like bazillion seasons is just,
it's just everyone hates it. Everyone hates it. It's not a fun storyline. It's a really big bummer.
Yeah.
You're like, no.
Yeah.
Especially with it being her and because Polly, we are already disliked him from Big Brother, and then now they're coming in with another person I don't like, and then their dynamic together I don't like, and then their like false vibrato duo I can't stand, and the fact that like he thinks that he's actually way better than he is, but he does fail often. Like, I'm just like, I can't handle it.
And what, like, back to when he was on Big Brother, like, remember how he was so manipulative and awful, and then just like unraveled, and we saw him just like lose all sense of logic,
like crying and just like
like his whole everything about him. I'm just like, dude, like he really needs, I think, help, and it's well, he should be going on the show.
Well, the rumor is that he didn't pass the psychological test to be able to compete on this season. So maybe he has become a little unhinged, or they didn't become a little bit more have more scrutiny in their screening process,
especially after Turbo and everything, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, can you imagine what Cara and Polly are going to be like after quarantine? They've just been spending all of this time together.
You know that for sure?
Like by themselves. They're still together. I saw like one of their
but they don't live in the same city though. I don't know.
They're staying together right now for quarantine. They're in a house in Montana.
Really?
Like, she's not even going to be thinking her own thoughts.
Well, she's
sure.
Yeah, no, she's.
Or I think that maybe they'll break up. Who knows?
Well, he's living off of her, like he's the mooch here. So
yeah,
it's in his best interest to keep Mama happy, because like she's probably have at least $1 million. I think she has like 600,000 that she's won from the challenge specifically, and that's not including her appearance fees. So she's probably made about $1 million from the challenge. And if she's done, like she's bought her property, has her horses, has her gym, like I'm sure she is making good money.
Yeah.
So she's the cash cow.
And
For
she's
sure.
got all those like fab fit boxes and clothing this and vitamins.
And he did disclose that they're in an open relationship. So
He did?
I wonder whose idea that was.
Are open. Sorry?
I wonder whose idea that was.
I
Are they
think
open?
that it's Polly's.
Cara would be like, no, it was like a totally mutual decision. We both came to the decision at the exact same time that we should be open.
But I thought they were open at first.
Maybe it's changed.
I thought it was at first before they were like a serious thing. They were like, yeah, we're open, like it doesn't matter. And then they went on that other challenge and were super tight. And then she found out that he was doing all those lies with his ex or whatever. And then they broke up. And then when they got back together, it seemed like they're pretty exclusive, but I'm sure they aren't actually because it's Polly. I mean, I don't think he's capable of that.
Do we hate anybody else?
Yeah.
Anybody else you want to hate on before we think about next episode?
Not particularly. I normally hate Kayla, but honestly, like, I don't really hate her right now because now she's friends with Nani, so I kind of have to like her a little bit.
What about her little flirtmance? That's
Claire?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we already know it's going to be a thing, and it breaks up her relationship, whatever.
Why are they showing that though? Like, I would think that they would keep that just like a secret, or not a secret, but let it come out in the episode as opposed to like in every preview.
It probably happens like next week, like right away, and fizzles out, or like drama happens probably pretty quickly. So they probably were just like, whatever, because there's probably other shit that happens. I mean, who knows? But I haven't liked her in the past, and otherwise, like I like most of the other people on this season.
Would you rather make out with Rogan or Bear?
Bear. But I honestly, I dislike them both. I dislike Rogan way more. I don't like Bear. I also forgot that I don't like Nelson and I don't like Corey.
Okay, rank them in order of who you would make out with.
Out of all the people I hate?
Yeah, those four.
So Kyle,
Oh, five. Kyle, Rogan, Corey, Nelson, and Bear.
Oh God. Okay, I guess. Oof. If we're going off of this season so far, I think I would have to probably go with, oh my God, this is so hard. Kyle, Corey, what are the other ones? It's Bear, Rogan, and
Rogan, Bear, and Nelson.
Oh God. Then Bear, then Nelson, then Rogan. Honestly, I hate Rogan the most. Rogan's at the bottom.
Fanta?
Okay, so out of those same five?
Yeah.
Unless you hate somebody more that you want to swap out.
Okay, I would probably go. Okay, wait. So it's Kyle, Nelson, Corey, and Bear,
And
And
Rogan.
Rogan.
and Rogan.
Yeah.
I was missing Rogan. Okay, so Rogan's last, obviously. I'd probably go with Bear first, then Kyle, then Corey, Nelson, and Rogan.
I'm almost the same, but I think that I would be more into Rogan than Nelson.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me, but
Nelson like grosses me out. Rogan's gross, but like I think he's a little bit more fun. Like I think he'd be a little more playful, which would be a little more interesting. Bear would just be like fun and kind of weirdo, and like I don't know, it'd be Kyle similar, like it would just be chill, like it just I don't know, it wouldn't be too serious. Corey, I think actually maybe I'd bump Corey down because I think that he's like, I don't think he's actually good. Like I don't think he has real swagger. Like I think he just goes off as he's like a good looking guy that has like a decent body and like he gets girls because he's mixed and you know what I mean? Like I just don't know if he has what I like in like sex appeal, you know? So it might be Bear, Kyle. No, it would still be Corey, Rogan, then Nelson. Yeah, I think.
You could get a baby out of Corey though.
A baby out of Corey, and I can get on Teen Mom 7.
Yes.
Or no, Teen Mom's mom. I don't want to have his baby. Now, do you follow him on Teen Mom at all, Michelle?
I do.
Do you remember Cheyenne? Do you watch Are You the One?
Oh, I know Cheyenne, yeah.
Okay, so Cheyenne, Ryder, and Corey are on Team Mom.
Yes.
And like another thirsty woman is Miss Taylor from she was on Are You the One? She was also on, was it X on the Beach?
Yep.
Oh,
you're on Are You the One? I think I remember her.
She's just like actually like a vile character, like person. So on X on the Beach, she started hooking up with Corey. And do you remember, what's her name? Alicia came to be like the ex that comes to try to get Corey back, and she's like, I with your daughter, and like you said that you wanted me to like be a mom, like, you know, she was totally like, they were in a relationship, and like she was really going back with her, like trying to get him back.
Oh, you mean Cheyenne?
Sorry?
I know Alicia from Are You the One?
But she also was on a season of The Challenge, no?
Yeah, she was. She was on.
She had a kid with Alicia as well?
No. So she's been like playing mom with Ryder, basically.
Oh.
Together. So she was just like being like, I could see you as my wife. Like he was just really, really painting the family picture with her, you know, from what she kind of was saying when she came on the show.
Right.
So then she gets to the house, and like he's hooking up with Taylor. And Taylor just like so trashy about it. At one point they get into a fight, and Taylor's on the balcony looking over at Alicia. They're like yelling at each other. She fucking horks and spits on Alicia in the house. Like ratchet. Like
so ratchet.
And
like,
now he's with Taylor?
And now he's got new baby mama.
With Taylor.
Yeah.
Correct.
Ew, why would he stay with Taylor?
Because Taylor's super fame thirsty. And like, so like, since he was on friggin' Teen Mom, because on Teen Mom, Cheyenne didn't even want Taylor to be around her, like Ryder and this and that. And he's like, oh, well, she might be in my life for a really long time. I think Taylor was trying to like, I can be a mom. I can be on this show too. Like, you know, now Corey has like 1.5 million followers, and like, you know what I mean? She's seen like he's getting all this fame. So she wants to be in his life, but like the barrier is Cheyenne, because like she doesn't want her to be around the baby, but she wants to be on this TV show. So why not pop out a baby so she can actually have a storyline? So
what a way, like.
And there's no way that their baby can be as cute as Ryder.
Oh, Ryder's perfect.
So cute. Oh.
Ryder is baby.
Oh,
I guess we should just all be happy that Taylor will probably never be on the challenge.
Oh, absolutely not.
Like, well, you can be on your Teen Mom and stuff, but don't get on our challenge.
And that's why I hate Corey, is just the decisions he makes.
Exactly.
He's not smart.
Makes me hate him.
He's not smart. He's not funny.
Not funny. Yeah. But I'm not like in active hate towards him currently, but like I just don't like his choices.
Not at all. So I've lost my last pick, which was Asaf. Fanta, you lost your last female pick, which was Jen. So we so far have done quite well on how we have guessed these people, because the people that we didn't want on our teams have been eliminated. So that's a plus, I'd say, for both of us, that we weren't
getting rid of the excess.
Yeah, we weren't surprised that we would be losing them.
Yeah. I just didn't think that Jennifer was going to be like that bad, I guess.
Wait, she wasn't your last pick? No, she was your last pick.
I think she was, actually.
Yeah, she was your last pick.
Yeah, she was my last pick. I didn't think she would be like that bad. Like, it didn't even look like she was trying.
Yeah, I mean, I think she just was in over her head, and you just gave her the benefit of the doubt, being that if you're going to come on the challenge, you'd have an idea of what you're getting yourself into, and she didn't.
Literally the opposite of what I thought.
Oh, well, but that kind of concludes, I guess, everything that really went down this week. I'm totally excited about what's going to happen next week. Michelle, if you want to come and hang out and chat with us again, we will have it always.
I love it. I can't wait. I love when there's the male elimination. It's just like the drama level is so high. I can't wait.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
But that's everything for this week on Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm Chantele Francis. You can find me on Instagram at ChanFranFran. You can find Miss Fanta
at Fanta Sesay on Instagram and Twitter.
And Miss Michelle.
I don't have Twitter, but my Instagram is Michelle Nash with 3 H's.
Ooh. 3 H's. We got 3 S's over here. Please subscribe down below. Hit the bell so you can hear when we have a new episode coming out. Like this video if you do, or if you don't. Leave a comment anyways. And I guess I'll see you guys next week. Yay!
Yay! Yay!